Welcome to the Two Marketing Moms podcast. I'm Kelly Callahan Poe, and today's episode is called Grow Your Authority on LinkedIn with Kelly Shoe Connect. Kelly is the founder of 2 Mile High Marketing in my home state of Colorado, helping businesses sharpen their messaging, boost visibility, and build impactful strategies. She also hosts the Beyond the Bestseller, a podcast empowering women to share their stories and grow thriving platforms. Thanks for joining me today, Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly. Kelly and Kelly.
Kelly and Kelly, both from Colorado. So you have an interesting backstory that we chatted about. I want to hear a little bit about it because it's an interesting story in terms of how you backed into helping others and growing their authority online. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, I feel like it happened accidentally. I lost my job in 2024 and decided to take a chance on myself and start my own business. So I took the skills and experience that I had and decided to go to market as 2 Mile High Marketing and help thought leaders develop their thought leadership platform.
I love it. And so you have a very specific platform that you promote. I'd like to dig into it.
Yeah.
First of all, what do you see are the top 3 pillars of thought leadership?
Well, I think anyone who is wanting to develop a thought leadership platform should be thinking of 3 things: visibility, credibility, and consistency. Those are, I feel, the pillars of thought leadership that if you really want to become a thought leader, you need to have those 3 things going for you.
And you also have 5 frameworks for LinkedIn content. Can you explain what they are and how they work and how you use them?
I do. So I would imagine that you will link to this in the show
I
notes.
will, yes.
Okay, perfect. Um, so I mentioned the 3 pillars: visibility, you got to get visible in front of your target audience; credibility, you need to show up in the way that you want people to see who you are, that they see you as the expert; and consistency. So these frameworks help people with showing up consistently. So I have some recommendations around how to show up consistently, and I can share that next. But the frameworks that I have, I like to use them just to help me, like in those moments when you're sitting down, you're like, what should I post today?
Yeah.
These frameworks kind of help me think through some things that have happened maybe recently in my work with clients or in my personal life or whatever. And it helps me like think of those stories that I can then turn into content and share. So the frameworks that I have, and I'll kind of go through maybe just a couple of them because there's a lot of words to this, but so the first framework is the I used to believe framework, or the I used to believe post. So I think of this as like, I used to believe X, then I realized Y, now I help others Z, right? So whatever those things are, like I used to believe that if I just did great work, opportunities would find me, right? But then I realized that visibility doesn't just happen by accident. Now I help others show up consistently online so that they can reach the target audience that they want to reach, right? Something along those lines. Obviously, if I'm writing this for LinkedIn, I'm going to have a lot more words on there, but for the sake of
Yeah.
listeners, I'm going to keep it brief. But these frameworks, so I have some examples in there too. So if you access these frameworks, which is, it's not gated content, you can access it, and I have kind of some examples in there to help you think through some ideas. A second one is the problem insight advice. So here's a challenge, here's what we realized, and here's what we did. A lot of times I'll use this one when it comes to a client story. So maybe it's something where, for example, a client was maybe looking to get speaking events, and we were challenged in finding the right events for that client. So we realized we needed to change maybe the approach, the pitch, the something about the target audience, something. And then, here's what we did and the results that we got. So it helps me kind of turn this story into a piece of content that I can share. But it also, when people read that, right, they see, oh, this person can help me with this exact problem, or it might help them think through a problem that they're having. So it's a way of just kind of turning some of your experiences into a lesson that you can share with your audience. So number 3 is the behind the scenes lesson. So what you're working on, a challenge or insight, and a takeaway. Kind of similar to the last one, but again, it's a behind the scenes look at the work that you're doing, and again, turning a story into something you can share. So, for example, I had a client, or I had somebody who signed up for a course that I have. So I have a course on how to write a book in 12 weeks. So I used the experience with this particular client who she would actually email me almost every day as she's going through this course, and we became friends during this process. And so I would take some of the experience, the questions that she was having or the things that she got stuck on, and then I would turn those into pieces of content that I could share with people, because surely if she had those questions,
Yeah.
other people are going to have the same questions, right? And then it allows me to talk about the course that I have, the work that I'm doing with authors and things like that. So just kind of taking some of those experiences and remembering to share those with your community, because you never know when people that are connected with you have the same problem or same questions. Number 4 is the mini list post. So 3 things I learned or 5 mistakes I see. You probably see these a lot.
Yeah.
People love list format, right?
Yeah.
So taking it doesn't have to be any kind of certain number, right? It could be 3, 5, 4, whatever. It doesn't matter. But the point is just taking something that you've learned or some sort of experience, and then breaking it down into digestible information that people can scroll through and learn from. And then number 5 is the credibility boost post. So here's something I've done, here's what I've learned, and how it helps others. So here's an example. I haven't been reading you all of the examples of the ones that I've shared. Again, these are all in the frameworks that you can download, but I'll share this one. So after helping dozens of founders get booked on podcasts and panels, I've noticed a pattern. The best results come when your personal story connects to your business strategy. That's the sweet spot we focus on when building our speaker elevation plans. So again, I would make this much longer if it was a real post, but just for the sake of an example, I have just a brief example in there. But it's something where I'm sharing how I'm helping people. I'm sharing something I've learned, and then how I'm now using that to help other people. Those stories are really powerful, and I believe that the stories I've shared since I started my company have been really, really just people have connected with me because of that. And I think that they've been really helpful in growing my business. So those are the 5 frameworks. They're all available for free, not gated. You could access them. And I just really like to play with them when I'm coming up with content. So I think they're really helpful. If you're stuck on ideas and trying to think of what to post on LinkedIn, this kind of helps you show up consistently.
I love that. And one of your area of expertise is your podcast, Beyond the Bestseller, and how you work with women to create their dream books. How has developing a book increased authority for some of the people that you've worked for? Has it been a game changer? How is that measurable?
So, I mentioned the woman that was writing me during the process of writing her book. So she was going through this course. The course isn't all email. It's all, you get an email every day telling you what to do. So she was getting the email from me, and that's why she would respond with a question or something. And we got to know each other. This was maybe about a year ago, actually, and she was a part of I created a community for women authors who are either writing a book or in the process of maybe marketing a book. They're all nonfiction authors. And because of the connection I made with her, I said, let's start a group for other women. And so we started this group. It's been amazing. We meet every week. We just help support each other, learn from each other. I bring in guests to kind of talk on different topics, things like that. But this particular woman that went through my course, she published her book. It was a surprise for her dad around Father's Day, so she published it in the spring this year, and she is a therapist who wrote a book about her experience being a caregiver for her mom, who is dealing with Alzheimer's. I'll just mention her book in case anyone's interested in that topic. So it's Memories Matter. The author is Dawn Wertz. As a therapist, she found herself looking for a book to kind of speak to the emotional experience she was having being this caregiver and losing her mom before losing her mom and what all the emotional side of that. And so she couldn't find the book. She found my course and decided to write the book. She did. And right after the book came out, she was asked to be a guest at an Alzheimer's fundraising event. I was actually at a speaking event and connected with somebody who was doing a conference on the topic of caregiving. And so I connected them. And then just last weekend, Dawn went and spoke to that group as well. And she was asked to do a book signing at a local bookstore and just so many things. She was interviewed on her local radio. Like so many things just came together for Dawn. And I think that the reason that she has such a great story is that she wrote that book 100% from her heart. She had this message to share. It wasn't something that she wasn't intentionally writing a book for book sales or to get rich off of it. It was because she had this deep reason for sharing her message, and she did. And she's had so many opportunities come her way because of it.
I love that story. That's it's very powerful and a great lesson. One of the other tools that you offer on your website is called the Thought Leadership Score tool, that helps you figure out how strong your thought leadership platform is and what to do next. I took the quiz and I thought it was very helpful to help me to determine what are the opportunities that I need to focus on. So I have some things to work on. For me, I need to work on PR, testimonials, speaking engagements, and I hadn't really thought about, but looking at book opportunities. Can you tell us a little bit more about the tool and how you use it with clients? Because it's really interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned that I just started my business last year, and a couple of the things that I did immediately was I started my podcast. So you mentioned my podcast. Uh, I I wanted to just I felt like I needed to start developing content and networking with the right people, right? And then the second thing on my list was creating that quiz. I wanted to have that resource for people that when I would go out and speak or be on podcasts or connect with people, I had somewhere I could point them where it would give them some helpful, valuable information. So that quiz is designed to help you think through. It takes, as you know, it takes about 3 minutes. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really quick to go through. You answer some questions. I think it is thought provoking as you're going through it because you're thinking about your answers to these questions and going, oh, yeah, maybe I should be doing that, or
Yes.
and then in the end, it gives you that score. It kind of tells you where you fall as a thought leader, and then gives you those things, those ideas of things to work on if you want to further develop your thought leadership platform. So I think for most people, they probably think that they are further along than they are, right? But it really gives you a full scope of the things to be thinking about, and not in an overwhelming way, but just like, oh, okay, the next thing I should work on might be this, right?
Yeah.
We can only do one thing at a time, so it's adding on kind of the next thing that you can work on when you have the capacity for it. But yeah, it's a handy tool, and it will give you that kind of takeaway. You should get an email with your results, and then that's something that you can use to work on developing your platform further.
I highly recommend checking out the tool, and I will provide a link to it on the website notes section. So thank you so much, Kelly, for sharing your insights today. I'm hoping you'll come back again and maybe we can talk about letting women create their own dream books because I'm interested.
Yeah, I would love that.
We'll post Kelly's tools and contact information on the transcript on twoworkingmoms.com. Thanks for joining.